So this is an Arab in Israel, an Israeli Arab, who is prepared to say the truth about the so-called NAKBA, which is referred to as the catastrophe in Arabic, which is about the displacement of Arabs that occurred in 1948. Now, there's many misconceptions around what it is and what's happened, and people frame this sort of like Israel's original sin. But actually, the truth is very, very different. Have a watch.
Okay, so your name's Marwan, right?
Yeah.
So you're Palestinian, right?
No.
But you live in Israel?
Yes.
And you're an Arab?
Yes.
So you're Palestinian?
No.
How can you be living here and an Arab and not be a Palestinian?
نحن اخترنا نعيش مع اليهود.
So you were born here?
Yes.
And your parents were born here? And your grandparents were born here? And your great-grandparents were born here? And you're not Palestinian?
أنا مش فلسطيني.
Okay. I need to understand this a little bit better because I heard that in 1947, 1948, there was a NAKBA. And in the NAKBA, all the Arabs who lived here were kicked out of this land by the Jews and displaced. But you're an Arab whose family lived here at that time, and you're not a Palestinian?
لا أنا مش فلسطيني وكثير عرب اختاروا يعيشوا في سلام مع اليهود.
So why did your family not get kicked out in the Nakba?
لأنه اخترنا نعيش مع اليهود في سلام.
So you're saying anybody who was willing to live in peace with the Jews didn't get kicked out?
Yes. أكثر من هيك إنه اليهود ولا طردوا ولا أي عربي، بس المدن العربية والدول هن قالوا للعرب اللي في إسرائيل إنه اطلعوا من الدولة لأنه رح نحرق كل اليهود.
So do people in your family serve in the army?
Yes.
So would you call Israel an apartheid?
No.
Do you have all the same rights as Jewish people in Israel?
Yes. I have all the rights.
So what do you want to say to all the people around the world who assume that because you're an Israeli Arab that you're also a Palestinian?
أول إشي تصدقوش كل إشي بتسمعوه في السوشيال ميديا، لأنه نحن إسرائيل أحسن دولة واليهود في حياتها ما طردت ولا عربي. نحن هون دروز أسلام مسيحية بدوا من قبل 100 سنة قبل ما تصير دولة إسرائيل، ولكن اخترنا إنه نكون معها وندافع.
Together?
Yes.
Not bad. Okay,
So there you go. You know, the truth is a funny thing. It always manages to come out sooner or later. And people who you wouldn't even expect to be admitting the truth will say so in the end. This is the big misconception people have. And I think it's what fuels a lot of their hate, the ignorance, the misunderstanding around Israel. People think the Jews are some foreign colonialist group of people that came to this land from Europe and they displaced all the indigenous Palestinians that live there. And of course, Free Palestine is going to be a movement that emerges. Of course, what do you expect? They want their land back. Well, this Israeli Arab has revealed the clear truth. What's the truth? In a quick nutshell, and this is something you should share with people who aren't clear, and get your pen and paper out so you can note this. Let's be clear. The Jewish people are the indigenous people of the land of Israel. They have had a connection to this land for thousands of years. Longer than Islam, longer than Arabs were living in this territory. Jews lived here. They were the only people ever to have a sovereign state there. They were kicked out, displaced en masse by the Roman Empire, and the Roman Empire changed the name of the land to Palestine. Not because of any Arabs, but because they wanted to sever the Jewish connection with the land, and they named it Palestine in reference to the Philistines, who were an ancient, extinct enemy of the Jews. They were from Greece, actually. For thousands of years, Jews were in exile, praying to return home. From the 7th century onwards, you had the Islamic conquest, and you started to have Arabs living there. Nations and empires tried to take hold of the land, and there was always a Jewish presence there, always small, but there was one. From the 18th and 19th century onwards, Jews started planning, well, really 19th century, Jews started planning a return. And when they returned, they didn't return to the land by kicking people out. They purchased land legally. And Arab landowners willingly sold it. And so you started to have Jews and Arabs living there. No one's being kicked out. No one's being displaced. And at this point, it's under the Ottoman Empire. There's no Arab country called Palestine there. It's under the Ottoman Empire. The Turks are running it. Then the British take it over. And then after World War II, when you have the worst massacre against Jews in history, the world says, right, okay, there's a strong Jewish population now alongside a strong Arab population in this land. The only sovereign state there that's ever existed has been a Jewish one. But we also understand that Arabs live here. Jews are happy to live with Arabs, but they would like to have autonomy. They'd like to re-establish sovereignty, given this is their historic homeland, especially given that without sovereignty, they've really suffered for 2,000 years. And given that there's no other stronger claim to this land. So they said, all right, so let's split the land. The Jews said, fine. And they said, fine, and we're happy to have Arabs living in our Jewish state as long as they are happy to live in peace with us. And the Arab leadership and the surrounding Arab countries said no. And they go to war, try to kill the Jews and throw them into the sea and get rid of the Jewish state. And they lose. And in the process of that war, many Arabs were displaced, not because the Jews came and kicked them out, because they started a war, an annihilationist war, a genocidal war against the Jews. And many were displaced actually because Arab armies and Arab leadership said, leave, run away so we can kill the Jews, and you can come back. And yes, some left in fear, but often the fear was because of the Arab leadership telling them to run. And the proof that the Jews didn't try to kick them all out is precisely this guy, this Arab. So we've been sold a lie. In fact, everything that the Palestinian cause laments, the anti-Israel cause, I mean, they call themselves, even calling themselves Palestinians, they consider themselves Arabs privately. This term Palestine is a white European colonialist term given by the Roman Emperor. It doesn't represent them. They'd have to be part of another Arab country, Arab empire. For them, it's just about the Jews. So everything they lament, from displacement to war to occupation to checkpoints to blockades, which is really just censoring for weapons, all of these things, are self-inflicted. They're self-inflicted in order to try and undermine Israel and PR. What they do is they attack Israel, then Israel fights back, and they're on the back foot, and so they try and create a PR war to seek international sympathy, which attempts to stop Israel from doing what it needs to do to protect herself. So it's great to see more and more courageous non-Jews and Arabs, actually, people in the Arab world, state the truth. When I interviewed Loaya al-Sharif, a Saudi Muslim pro-Israel peace activist, he said to me, Ollie, actually, I'll tell you something. If you ask most Israeli Arabs, the last thing they'd want to do is live in some kind of Arab Palestinian state. So there you go. That is the truth. Now, if you made it so far in this video, I have something that I want to show you. Have a watch. The world is full of lies.
That Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu bear criminal responsibility.
The truth is under attack.
Which river, which sea? So you don't know the answer.
From the media to the UN to celebrities, lies reign supreme. But the thing about the truth is that no matter how dark a room of lies, if you light one candle of truth, it can light up the whole room. That's why I created JTV, the global Jewish YouTube channel. We have been lighting the flame of truth on social media. We believe that the key to defeating anti-Semitism isn't just in fighting the hate, but it's about creating pro-Semitism and sharing the truth. There's nothing inevitable about anti-Semitism. We just need to tell our story with confidence, pride, and love. We believe that telling the truth, exposing the lies, and sharing the wisdom and beauty found within the Jewish story and the ideas of Judaism can transform the world. We're reaching millions of people all around the world from all backgrounds and perspectives. Every day we are transforming people's views about Israel, Jews and Judaism. How do we know? Because they tell us. But there's so much more we can do. It's time for us to build a team to accelerate our growth and produce way more content that can appeal to even more people. We want to hire more presenters, start doing documentary series, and way more. And if we do that, JTV will start competing with the other big media players who peddle anti-Israel narratives. And that's where you come in. I'm asking you to please partner with us on our journey to spread the truth to the entire world by donating whatever you can to this fundraiser. Together, we will harness the power of social media to shine the light of truth to the whole world. Thank you so much for your support. So look, if you believe in what we're doing, please help us to accelerate our growth. Please click on that link in the video description. The campaign is now live. If everyone in this video just chipped in a little bit, we would have all we need to accelerate and grow at a much faster pace. You can partner with us in having the impact of sharing the truth to people who weren't otherwise aware, who may otherwise have been ignorant. I think what we're doing is so necessary in such a morally confused world. So, as I say, it's just for a few days this campaign. If you're able to support us in any way, I'd be so grateful. I suspect most people probably won't click on the link, so I'm counting on you. Please click on the link to support the work that we're doing.